Video we shall discuss about planning in non-deterministic environment in the domain of artificial intelligence. We'll be mostly talking about theory. In another video we'll talk about application. So in planning we'll first see what is planning, and then we'll see about the deterministic and non-deterministic environment and what do we mean by non-determinism, and finally we'll discuss a method where we'll find a plan in a non-deterministic environment for a given problem. We are assuming that the user or rather the viewer will be familiar with the planning in deterministic environment and is aware about the terms action, predicate, precondition, effect, etc. We'll also assume that user is familiar with state space and simple graph search. So in planning it can be viewed as search with logic, in that in the planning problem the state space is given and we have to reach from a given initial state to one or more goal states. Unlike search, where search usually tries to reach to one single goal state, but in planning we try to meet several goals and eventually reach to a state where all the goal conditions have met. So in the planning, which how it differs from search is that in search we actually make a transition from one state to the next state just by traversing through the edges whatever exists in the problem graph. But in the planning, instead of making just a transition, we see that certain preconditions are valid, and then we apply an action, and as we apply the action, certain effects or certain other logics are generated which we call as effect, and using this action we make a transition from one state to another state. There may be several actions defined, and for each different edges there could be that can be annotated with different actions. Without actions we don't make a move or make a transition in the planning graph. For example, here we'll consider this example in our discussion next couple of topics. So let us try to understand this example. So here in this example we are trying to design a computer agent or intelligent agent who will be controlling one player in a computer game of football. The agent here in this small fragment of the problem, what is shown as the example here, we are trying to show how a ball can be received by that player and finally be passed to another player of the same team. So the initial state here are predicates, conjunction of certain predicates. For example, player P1T means that the person P1 is a player from team T. Similarly, player P2T, ball B means that B is a ball, and free B is ball is free, that nobody possesses the ball currently. So once this, so we are defining two actions here in this example. One is receive PTB, that means the person P or the player P from team T has received the ball P and will receive the ball P, and as a precondition of that action we have the player P has to be a player from the team T, then B has to be a ball and the ball has to be free. As a effect of that action we will see that P possesses the ball, which is expressed by possess PTB, and the ball is not free. The second action is pass P1 P2 TB, which says that the player P1 passes the ball to the player P2, both belonging to the team T. And the precondition here is that the player P1 is a player from the same team as P2, and the team is T, and the B is a ball, and the ball is possessed by the player P1. Unless it is possessed, it cannot be passed. So once the pass action is taken, the ball is no more with player P1, which is not possess P1 TB, and the ball is with the player P2, and the ball is not free anymore. So in this given problem we are asked to the agent is trying to find a plan so that initially the ball is free and the final goal state we are trying to attain the agent is trying to attain is how P2 can possess the ball. So you see there are two possible ways that P2 can possess the ball. One way is P2 can possess the ball directly by a receive action through this arc and through this transition edge. And the second way how P2 can possess the ball is first P1 possesses the ball through the receive action, and then P1 passes the ball to P2, and thus P2 possesses the ball. So we'll see. We have seen. We can check that the player PT, ball B, free B, these are true due to this initial state, and that's why receive action can be applied. Similarly, after the receive action applied, the post condition, the effect generated has possess PTB. So we see that player P1T, player P2T, ball B, all these are true because of the initial state, and possess P1TB is true because of the effect of the previous action. So essentially both the actions are applicable when this path is taken for the plan, considered for the plan. So in the planning problem, apart from how there is another interesting area where the planning differs from the search is that in planning we try to attain multiple sub goals. So for this given problem where A1, A2, etc. are actions, and G1, G2, etc. are some predicates which we want to be true or to be false. So for example, state 2 here says that when the control reaches to the state 2, G2 is satisfied. That means G2 holds here. The predicate G2 is true here. Similarly, when the control reaches at state 4, G1 holds here and G2 does not hold here. We do not mention about other predicates which may be G3 or G4 here, because here we are saying that everything else other than G1 and G2 remains unchanged, and the effect of reaching to this state by applying this A5, action A5, is that G1 will become true and G2 will become false. That is for sure. Or the same can be attained by applying A6 from state 2 as well. So essentially this state represents that G1 must be true here and G2 must be false here. We don't care about the other predicates. So here the given problem is that we have to attain all the goals of all the sub goals of G1, G2 and G3 starting from the initial state. So if we want to create a plan where how we can attain all the sub goals, we see that one possible path could be A2, then A1, then A3, then A4. So if we go to A2, then we first attain the sub goal G1, then go to A2, the state 2 by applying the action A1 and attain the sub goal G2. Then when we are at state 3, we see that G1, G2 are both true here, and when finally we are at state 5, G1, G2 and G3 everything holds here. So we have attained all the sub goals that our problem gives us. So this is one possible solution. Another possible solution is we start with initial state, go to state 2 first using applying A1, then applying A2 we go to state 1, then A3 we go to state 3, and then applying A4 we go to state 5. So this is another possible path how we can attain the same set of sub goals G1, G2 and G3. But we see that just by choosing any arbitrary path to reach to this state 5, if we want to call it the final state or the goal state, we cannot really attain all the sub goals. For example, if we go to G2 and state in the state 2 and then state 3 and state 5, then we see that from the initial state we only have G2 here, and finally when we reach at state 5 we have G2 and G3 true, but G1 is not true here. So we have not attained all the sub goals. So just reaching the state 5 is not the end goal. We also have to ensure that we are meeting all the sub goals, so that the state represented by G5, here everything we are ensuring that all the sub goals are met, and finally we are at state 5. That means we have attained all the sub goals on the way finally to reach at the state 5. So here we see a possible plan how of this problem. It is a partial order plan where G1, A1 and A2 can be applied in any order, and then after that A3 can be applied and A4 can be applied. So in this example, we now try to investigate what are the deterministic choices we made and what are the possible non-deterministic choices we can make to make the plan more robust or more realistic. So one of the assumption we made is that the agent has full information of the game, of the about the players and the ball and who possesses the ball, etc. But that may not be true in real life scenario or even in the game scenario. Maybe our game is so realistic that the agent actually tries to without maybe the agent the player who the agent is controlling does not know who the player will be passing the ball to without actually looking to the other person. So maybe just by being in the field or being in the game does not know that P2 is a player from the same team. He has to actually understand that okay, somebody standing at his back is indeed a player from the team T and this particular player P2. So uh, this is one kind of partial observability that we can model, that the agent does not have full information. While we are creating the plan, the agent does not have full information, and maybe the information will be revealed when the actual execution of the plan is going on, and at that time the agent will have the percept to understand which player the ball is being passed to and which team the player belongs to. The second kind of non-determinism is about the non-deterministic domain, and it's a very important one, which says that an action here we all the two actions we have chosen, they move from one state to a definite next state. For example, the post conditions or the effects after applying the action receive PTB are singular. For example, when receive PTB is applied, possess PTB and not free P, these are the two predicates that are satisfied, and this is a definite one. But in real life maybe there are other possibilities. For example, a pass in the pass in the pass action, a pass from P1 to P2 sometimes may be unsuccessful. For example, passing the ball to P2 does not actually actually make the ball in the possession of P2 because somebody from the other team or even from the same team has intercepted in between and received the ball. Other possibility is that the ball goes out of line when the pass is made because of a wrong pass or a missed pass. So all these are different possibilities that we have not modeled in this example, but that can be modeled for a realistic scenario. Third type of non-determinism that we can model is the environment to be dynamic. For example, maybe when the user makes the pass, actually the user has all the information, not the user, sorry, the player P1. The P1 makes a pass. Maybe player P1 knows that P2 is a player from the same team and passes the ball, actually kicks the ball towards P2. But before P2 receives the ball, maybe P2 gets injured and thus P2 cannot possess the ball. Maybe P2 has a hamstring injury suddenly and misses the ball. Second possibility is that once P1 receives the ball, maybe P1 actually makes a handball. So basically after making a handball, the ball is actually no more in possession of P1 because the ball is now, the game is stopped and game has to be restarted by someone from the opponent team. So these are the different kind of dynamics that we have not modeled in this scenario because the world is not perfect. The world is not static. It keeps on changing. So there could be scenarios which is not part of the model, but still in such cases the agent has to make sure that it is able to continue with solving the problem, possibly by creating a new plan at the time when some unknown scenario has happened or unknown environment changes has happened. So here this kind of planning is called online planning, and in this lecture, in this video lecture, we'll not discuss about online planning. We'll rather focus on the non-deterministic domain mostly, and we'll also touch base upon the partial observability. So in the partial observability, we try to investigate now what is a partial observability that can be modeled for this game. So one partial observability that we are trying to model in this example here is that, so the left hand side is the deterministic case when there is full observability of the game. So there the pass P1 P2 TB means that P1 passes the ball to the teammate P2, which means P1 clearly knows whom the ball is being passed to and knows that there is a teammate from the same team and the person is P2. in the when we try to model this partial observability, that okay, when P1 passes the ball, it does not actually know which player is it. Maybe it just know by the color of the jersey that that person is a player from the same team, but does not really know which person that is. Maybe that person is a defender, or maybe then that person is a center forward, or maybe the goalkeeper also. It does not have those information. It just knows by the color of his jersey. Maybe has had a quick peep to the person standing at his back or at his side, and passes the ball to. So we want to model this partial observability during planning. So here, since we want to model that player P2 status is not known, whether who is P2 and what is the status, we basically remove the clause player P2T from the initial case, and we also modify the goal, saying that okay, now somebody from the team T has to possess the ball, and that person must not be P1. Because P1 starts with the game. So here we have removed the other arc, which means we are considering only a singular plan, that okay, from the initial state to the goal state, only P1 can first possess the ball and then make a pass to the player Q. Here Q is a variable. So in this video, everywhere within the predicates, if I am using a small letter, they are variables. If I am using a capital letter, they are constants. So Q is a variable. We do not know who is the person, but the person must be from team T, and obviously the ball has to be possessed, and that Q person must not be same as P1. That's why not possess P1 TP. This is the goal state. So how do we model this? So instead of having the precondition as player P1T, we put a new condition here, that spot mate P1 QT, which means that P1 tries to spot a mate from the same team, and the mate is represented by here by Q here. Q is a variable, and we see that as effect of the action, we do not really know who is P2, so we remove the P2 from this condition, and just this pass now means that P1 passes the ball to some teammate from team T, passes the ball B. Possess Q TB means here that Q possesses the ball now, and rest of the conditions are same. So here the pass essentially means P1 passes the ball to one of the teammate. Who the mate is not known during planning. So this is the partial observability we are trying to model. Okay, so this was the case we are considering. So we see that here spotmate means that spotmate P1 QT means that P1 from team T has spotted a teammate. And one thing we missed to inform in the previous slide was that if you notice that the pass here, the pass action does not mention about the variable Q, because the variable Q is not known. So we cannot model an action where the Q variable, basically we are trying to model the partial observability. That's why we have not put Q in the pass action. We are trying to see how we can still model the partial observability case where Q is an unknown without actually Q being in the actions, this pass actions variable list. So here the spotmate P1 QT is not a simple precondition. It is called a percept. And what is a percept? The percept is something that user will get input from, rather the agent will get input from while the action is in progress, not during planning. So the percept spot, so in percept schema is something which we use to define a percept, and percepts has some preconditions. Percepts do not have any effect. So for example, here we are modeling the percept spotmate PQT. We are saying that the precondition is that player PT has to be same, and the player P has to see the jersey PQ. So player P has to see the jersey of the player Q. So if it sees the jersey and inherently understood, this C jersey is basically an predicate which will become true only if the player P looks at Q. So we are adding another action here, that player P looks at Q, and the precondition is that before that player Q did not see the jersey of player Q, and after that player P sees the jersey of player Q. And as an effect of this look at PQ, player P now understands the color of the jersey of player Q, and understands that that person Q, the player Q, is from the same team. So that is where implicitly here we have said that through this definition of the percept, we have said or we have captured that notion of that player P understands now that Q is from the same team by using this percept. So by using this percept by using this percept spot mate, we now say that okay, once this spot mate is true, that P now knows that Q is a person from the same team. Now P1 can actually pass the ball to some person Q. That's why we do not know exactly which person, so that's why Q does not appear in the passes argument list, action variable list. So possess QTB is being basically the Q that has been understood from the percept spotmate P1 QT. So this is how we can model a partial observability in the partial observability using percept schema, where during planning we do not have information about the Q and the action does not have the variable Q, but during execution we'll use the percept to get input about the variable Q and thus still be able to make an action where the outcome of the action or the effect of the action has the instance of that variable Q. So now after partial observability, we'll investigate thoroughly into a more interesting scenario. I should not say more interesting scenario, into an interesting scenario of non-determinism, which is the domain is non-deterministic. And when you say the domain is non-deterministic, what we essentially mean is that the one action when applied on a state can have multiple outcomes, and those multiple outcomes has some non-determinism. So if during planning time we really do not know what will be the outcome, so we list down all the possible outcomes and we create our plan to be able to cope up with all the different possible outcomes. And the different possible outcomes may come with different probabilities and the probabilistic model we are not going to discuss here, but we are going to discuss what happens assuming that all the outcomes are equally probable. What will be the how we can devise a solution in such kind of a non-deterministic action outcome. So here we'll consider this example throughout the rest of the video lecture. So please pay attention to this. So in this we are little bit elaborating the football match agent, where we are saying that okay, now our states has certain states, so it's a gameplay now occurring. By the way, this is consider this as a phrase example. Do not try to relate it with the previous small example of receive and pass. So in this example, we are saying that the ball in the beginning, so these are the state of the balls and the game, the circle ones, the nodes, and the arrows are the actions. So here we are saying that first the ball is at center. If the ball is at center, the T1 is supposed to start and kick off the match. So at center T1, and then once the kickoff happens, as the outcome of that action, we reach to a state where the ball is implicit here. The x1 possesses the ball. X1 is from T1. X from T1 possesses the ball, and after possessing the ball, a player can make a pass or player can try to roll forward with the ball. So these are the two possible actions we are considering from this state. So in a realistic scenario, there may be many more actions from one of these states, from each of these states. We are limited in space and complexity here. So we are trying to model only a few states and only a few actions from each state. In the possess action, from the possess state, if someone makes the pass action, either the ball will be passed to another teammate. So here implicitly x is not equal to y. I should have put that condition here. So pass means the ball is possessed by another player from the same team, or maybe it is intercepted by another player from a different team, from the opponent team, or maybe the ball, when it is passed, it actually misses all the players and goes out of line, and this out of line is caused by someone from the team T1, so that's why out of line T1. That means T2 will start the game after that. Then after possessing the ball, if the player rolls forward with the ball, there are two possible next states. One is if when user tries to roll forward with the ball goes out of line accidentally by a touch or something, or maybe the ball is the player reaches near the D box of the opponent team to take a goal kick. So now after reaching the near D box T2, that means near the D box of the team T2, the agent can make a pass or make a goal kick. If the agent makes a pass, here we are assuming it's a very definitive, the player is a very good one, never makes a wrong pass in the D box or near the D box, so the pass always goes to another player from the team, same team T1. Alternatively, the player tries to make a goal kick, and as outcome of the goal kick, again the ball can be possessed by another player from the same from the opponent team, which may be the goalkeeper in this case, or maybe the ball misses the goal post and goes out of line, which is again out of line T1, and maybe the goal kick also actually ends up in the goal post and is a goal is scored. So we are calling that state as at goal and at goal post of T2. That's why at goal T2. So this is the example we are considering, and as you can see that there are multiple outcomes from each of these state. Pauses from the pauses state pass is applied, there are three possible actions. So we consider this as a graph where these are all the different choices for the same action, but there are two different actions which are also choices from the same pauses. So if an agent really has to make during gameplay really has to make some decision, either the pass has to be made or the roll forward has to be done. So one of these actions would be done, but as the outcome of those actions, one of those actions, there are other possible states, multiple other possible states where the game can land up to, and we have to plan accordingly so that eventually we can reach to the objective of the player, which is to score a goal. So here we'll introduce some formal definitions and formal notations. So all this will do to be able to see how a method can be devised to create a plan in a non-deterministic environment. So do not be scared. These are very simple notations. For example, S here is set of all the states in the domain. So basically S consists of all these circles. A is set of all the actions of this domain. So A consists of the actions kickoff, pass, goal kick, roll forward, etc. And the transition function gamma is S cross A to 2 to the power S, which means that from one state, if some action is applied, what are the possible states that the transition can land up to, the action can land up to. For example, from the pauses state, if pass is applied, all these three different states either of these three different states. So basically the 2 to the power S in this case, he is basically a subset of the set S, the states, and in this case the subset is consists of these three circles, pauses, the second pauses, and the out of line. So these are the three subsets that if we apply the pass action from this state, they can land up into this. So that is the transition function. The transition gamma is basically to capture all the possible transition functions in this model. So essentially the S, A and gamma is the non-deterministic domain we are talking about, which clearly represents the entire graph. And gamma SA is just by applying the action A on the state S, specific state S, applying specific action A on the specific state S. For the deterministic domain, gamma SA is either null, because maybe at one state the action is not defined. The action maybe from this state the goal kick is not defined. So that's why from the state at center, even if we are considering a non-deterministic or deterministic, in both cases the gamma SA will be 0. But for deterministic domain, this kind of multiple outcome of an action is not possible. So that's why for deterministic domain we always land up that gamma SA will always land up into basically one single set. So it is not actually a mapping from S cross A to 2 to the power S, it is rather a mapping from S cross A to S. But in non-deterministic domain, it can be mapped to a subset, because many possible states can be mapped due to the action. So now we define policy, and policy is the key using which we will actually try to model a solution of the non-deterministic domain. So what is a policy? So policy is choice of an action of some states. So for example, let us try to understand, leaving the formal notice, let us try to understand with some example. So let us say we are defining a policy pi 1. So we'll denote the policy using the symbol pi here. So pi 1 is a policy, and pi 1 defines two, there are two statements here. One says that, or two mappings here. One says that at the poses xt1, the pi 1 means that pass, which means that when the agent is as poses xt1, the decision that it will make to move forward with the game or to do, there are two possible decisions. One is roll forward, one is pass. But for this particular policy pi 1, the pass action will be chosen. In another policy pi 2, for the same state, we are choosing a roll forward action, not the pass action. So this is a mapping from poses xt1 to pass for that particular policy. Similarly, pi 1 on the near d box is pass for this policy pi 1, and pi 2 near d box is goal kick. So if the, let's say one agent is always following the policy of pi 1, so essentially that agent will always, when at this state, will always choose the action pass, and when at this state we also always choose the action pass, because pi 1 says that at these states the action pass is the only choice that the agent can make. For pi 2, the agent at this state can actually roll forward, cannot make a pass, has to roll forward, because that is the choice that is the compulsion it has, because it is following the policy pi 2, and when near d box it cannot make a pass, it has to do a goal kick. So essentially at this policy, at this state, policy pi 2 necessitates that the goal kick has to be made by the agent. So eventually we'll see that how a policy can be finally become a solution, and how we devise a policy such that an agent will be made or can make out a plan to reach to the goal state, which is here the add goal T2, starting from any initial state. So acting by policies is like when we are actually executing the policies, how we can apply the policies. So it is very easy when at one stage, one state, we see what are the possible actions by the what is the basically policy, whether there is some defined action on this particular state. If there is some defined action, that is S belongs to domain pi, that means this belongs to the domain of pi, then we'll make the action whatever is defined for that state. For example, if we are following pi 2 and if we are at state goal kick, the near d box, then only choice we have is goal kick, because pi 2 defines that pi 2 near d box T2 is goal kick. So essentially we'll take the action goal kick and we'll keep on doing so until we reach the goal state. If the state is not defined in the domain of pi, the policy that the agent is following, then we basically do not do anything, we terminate. Otherwise, we actually continue to apply the policy repeatedly and finally try to be able to reach to a state which is the goal state. The definition, what is the goal state, etc., does not matter when we are actually trying to perform the policy, because performing the policy is just being able to repeatedly apply the policy on a state and move to the next state, again apply the policy, and so on. We'll see how we can devise a plan to reach to the goal state in subsequent slides. So in the policies, we have seen this example in the previous slide. There are alternate representations of how we can make a plan or represent the planning problem and or non-deterministic planning problem, and how we can devise a plan. So alternative representations include decision tree or conditional statements. The decision tree is from each of the node of a tree, we make one decision to reach to another state. Then from that state we have certain, again, some non-deterministic decisions. So multiple edges going out of that node, multiple child can be attained from that parent, and those are the non-deterministic choices. And from that we can again make certain non-deterministic choices. We can keep on doing that, but we have to stop at some finite depth, because if we are representing the problem of the planning, it has to be within a finite depth, and that's why we have to create the decision tree of some finite depth. So the problem with decision tree is that unlike policies where we can repeatedly using the simple policy statements, we can keep on applying the policy using the perform policy that we have seen in the last slide. We can keep on doing perform policy on this policy repeatedly, infinitely. But for decision tree, our decision tree has to be something finite, so we really cannot apply that as many times as we want. It is limited by the depth of the tree. But there is a advantage of the decision tree as well. The advantage is that from same state different actions can be applied. Here in the policy we are bound by the move that we can make, because for example, if I choosing pi 1, we are bound to make the move pass. We cannot really make the move roll forward if we are following the policy pi 1. So this is the limitation, but we'll see how we can basically, instead of this limitation, how we can create a plan or how we can create a policy which can actually be able to give us a non-deterministic solution of a problem. In the policies with memory, so here we are considering the policy does not have a memory, so that basically policy does not follow. Here the policy is basically defined on a single state. Maybe the policy is defined on the history of all states plus the current state, so that the policy is able to make non-deterministic choices also from the same policy. For example, pi 1, let's say we are also considering that pi 1 is not defined on only pauses, but all the states it has visited previously, or maybe such finite window of, let's say, 5 states it has visited previously, based on the last 5 states plus the current state, these 6 states, it defines what is the next action going to be made. So then we can make several different basically choices of the policy based on the argument set. So that is also possible. Policies with memory, that means the policies with the trace of history, can also make non-deterministic choices from a single state, or make different actions, basically allow different to take different actions from the same state. So we'll not discuss about decision tree and conditional statements in this video. We'll stick to our discussion to the policy based method to devise a plan. So we are defining now what is a reachable state, and we denote reachable states by gamma prime S pi. That means starting from S, using only the policy pi, what are the states that can be reached. So for example, if let's say we are considering this state as the S, and our pi is the pi 1. The pi 1 definition is given here. So what are the states? If we apply pi 1, we see that pi 1 allows from this state only pass. So from this state, if we apply the action pass, we can reach to these 3 states: possess yt1, possess zt2, and out of line t1. So that is the reachable states from for the action pi. For the policy pi when applied on action S. So that is the reachable state definition for that for this state. So now the leap states, how we define the leap states is that, so there is another definition of leap states. That means, what are the leaps? Leaps are when we reach applying the gamma prime S pi, that is the reachable states starting from one state, we reach there, but there is no more, the pi policy cannot be applied, the actions defined by the pi policy cannot be applied on this, because there is no action defined on this state by the policy pi. So those are the leap states. For example, here if we consider, let's say we are at this state only, but now we are considering the policy pi 2. So pi 2 says that either we can roll forward or we can goal kick if we are at this state. So if we roll forward, we see that we can come to this state, or we can go to this state. So if we come to this state, in the near D box T2 state, we still have another definition of the pi 2 policy for that near D2 state, and which says that the goal kick action can be made. So this is not a leap state. Why? Because pi 2 is still defined on this state and gives an action, and action can still be applied based on the policy pi 2. So this is not a leap state. But if we reach using the roll forward to this for example, the out of line T1, or from this near D box we apply the goal kick and reach to one of these three states. From these three states we do not have any policy. Basically the policy pi2 does not define any action on these three states. So that's why these three states do not appear in the domain list of the policy pi2. So these are the leap states. So now moving on. So now we define what is the planning problem and the solution with the formal notation. So these are all the formal notations that we have already discussed. Let us we have already discussed this. So but if you want to go through and try to understand what the formalism is, you can do it. We are not going to explain each of the formalisms here. But in the planning problem, we are saying that the planning problem is nothing but the non-deterministic domain is given, a start state is given, and the set of goal states are given. Remember, the goal state can be a set of sub goals. So the goal state is given. So essentially, if S0 is the initial state and SG is the set of goal states, this is the planning problem we are trying to solve. That we have to be able to reach to attain all the goal states starting from the one of the goal states here. So in this planning problem, we are considering to be able to reach one of the goal states, attain one of the sub goals when the S0 is actually not attain one of the sub goals. The sub goal can be represented, all the sub goals can be represented at a single state also. So let's say all the states in SG represents all the sub state, all the sub goals in each of these individual elements of SG. So we are trying to reach to one of the state SG, one of the state from the set SG. The solution here is that we are saying that okay, if so planning problem P of domain sigma, so policy pi is a solution if the leaves of that policy pi when applied on the start state, there is some overlap with the set of goal states. We'll see what is the solution here. Let's see. Okay, we are considering in this example, so it's the same example and same policies that we have described before. Let us consider S0 is a start state and SG is the goal state. So here S0 is possess x1t. So we are starting from this state possess x1t, and we want the agent to make a plan to be able to reach to SG at goal T2. So what is a solution? So we have seen this definition of solution, but let's try to understand that with this example. So check if pi1 is a solution. So what are the leaps of S0 pi1? So here we are required that leaps of S0 pi and intersection with SG is not equal to phi for pi to be a solution. So let's see if pi1 is a solution. So leaps of S0 pi1 is when S0 is this state, we apply pi1, we see that there are three possible leaps. These are the first three states here, possess at the right side, top three states, possess yt1, possess zt2, and out of line t1. These are the leaps, but our goal state is this, only this single state is the goal state. So there is no intersection from this state and this state. So essentially pi1 is not a solution. Let's now try to see whether pi2 is a solution. So we define here leaps S0 pi2. We see that okay, leaps S0 pi2 is basically if we apply pi2 on this state, the leaps are possess zt2 because we can apply roll forward here, and from the roll forward we make a goal kick and which lands up in possess zt2. That's why possess zt2 also comes in the leap state, and there is no more this is not in the domain of pi2, so that's why this is a leap state. Similarly, if we make a roll forward directly, we can reach to the out of line t1, and if we make a goal kick, we can reach to a goal kick from near d2, near d box. We can end up in in this state at goal t2. So these leap states are these three here, and we see that okay, this leap states intersection SG is not phi. That means this at goal is common between the goal states as well as the leaps of starting from S0 using pi2. So essentially pi2 is a solution. So in the non-deterministic domain, now our problem is how do we find a solution. So we represent the non-deterministic domain as an Andor graph. We can consider this as an Andor graph where these are the states, these are the transitions using these actions, and these are the end nodes where if we make a choice of pass, we have to consider all the possible paths, and out of pass and roll forward, we have to choose one of the actions. So that's why these are the OR choices that we have. So this can be actually broken down. This is not exactly an Andor graph, but it can be broken down to an Andor graph by introducing some auxiliary states in between to make each of the nodes either an AND node or an OR node. So we'll see how a solution can be found by a simple forward search on such a graph, Andor graph representation. So a solution is simply by let's first see that okay. So when we try to find a solution, we are trying to basically create a policy, and the policy itself will be the solution that we are trying to find out. So we are trying to devise a policy. We are trying to create a policy so that the policy leads us from the start state to the given goal state. So we start with policy is null, that is there is nothing in the policy, and the start state S0 is the only state that we can start from, and only S0 is visited. So we are doing a simple forward search. So we loop over each of the S's over the SG, the goal state. So basically if, my mistake, we loop over all these states and we'll see where the loop continues actually. But we are saying that if S is the goal state, then we whatever policy we have here is the final policy, we can return that. If S is, assume that we are at this state. So basically this is the goal state. So this is not, S does not belong to SG. So we do not return pi here. Then A is the set of actions applicable on S. So for that policy, so for this policy, let's say the policy we are considering the pi 2 policy that actually took us from this state to the solution. In the pi 2 policy, if we see that the applicable actions are only at this state, applicable action is only roll forward. So from this state, we get the roll forward as the action set. There could be multiple, for one particular state, we have a set of actions, pass and roll forward. So A will contain both pass and roll forward because A is the set of all applicable actions. Now our policy, when we finally come out with a policy, we'll see that only one of these choices are made. One of these actions are chosen for the state from this set A. So if A is not phi, that means A is phi, that means there is no action defined because of this policy. That means we cannot move forward because the policy does not have this state in the domain. So we essentially stop. Otherwise, we make a non-deterministic choices of which action can be taken. And these non-deterministic choices is the simple blindly going forward to one of the children of that graph or the tree we are considering, or the Andor graph rather. Basically going to the next state blindly and trying to search. So this is the similar to the so what we do in the search. We try to basically explore one of the paths from the current node. So this is the non-deterministic choices, one of the actions we will be choosing, and then we'll choose one of the states that we can go to using. So basically this is another non-deterministic choice that okay, even if we choose one of the actions, for that action we can land up, because it is a non-deterministic domain, we can land up into multiple or one of the many possible next states. So we'll choose again non-deterministically one of these states, and if the state is already visited, that means this state that where we are landing up because of the choice of the action and because of the choice of the outcome of the action, if that state is already visited, that means we have there is some kind of a cycle we have already visited and we came back to the state through some other paths, etc. So then we said that this is failure, because we are basically making the same loop again and again by the choice of the non-deterministic choices we have already made. Otherwise, we say that okay, we add this action in the policy set pi, this pi s mapping to A, sorry, pi s mapping to A. This is the choice we are making. And we also add the visited the next state in the visited list of S. So, and finally we move to the next state, that is x is x s prime, and then we continue the loop with the new S, which is the next state by this non-deterministic choice of action and non-deterministic choice of S. Now you will say, what is special about this? We are just making a simple forward search, yes, and when it is a failure, this policy that we are trying to devise is not necessarily working, basically cannot necessarily take us from one of the initial states to attain one of the goal states. That is correct. But if we have certain kind of heuristics where the non-deterministic choices that we are making here, we can make the choices better, or we can keep trace of one of the failed set of policies. Let's say when we fail, when we return failure from this loop or from this invocation of the find solution, we keep track of what is the failed policy that does not lead us to a solution. In the subsequently we can make another invocation to the find solution, and we try to follow not the same choice, non-deterministic choices, so that we actually have another set of basically we are trying to see if another policy or another choices can give us a policy which actually yields us to the final state. So there is so in this example we considered that, okay, from this policy, from this state we are trying to find one path that may lead us to the goal state. But there is a concept of a safe solution which is a stronger solution, which says that from the initial state we may go to several states in between by the choice of the non-deterministic choices we make during this algorithm. But from each of those states we still have a path to be able to reach to the goal state. So here in this simple solution, we call it just a solution. In this solution, it does not necessarily guarantee us that, okay, if because we just return failure when some of the states basically pi is not defined, and we do not actually carry on. We just trying to find one path which leads us to the goal state. But in the safe solution, we try to find out. Let's say we modify the problem a little bit to be able to understand what is a safe solution. We say that there is one action from this state to the goal state, and the action is A, which takes us from this state to the goal state, and we add one more action B somehow to make a transition from the out of line T1 to goal. We augment the pi 2 to have this new two basically new two entries in its domain, and basically two actions are defined, corresponding actions are defined on these states for pi 2. Pi 2 is a safe solution here because any state that is reached from starting from this pauses of xt1, we see that any state we reach, eventually there is a path to the goal state. So basically if pauses xt1, if we make the roll forward and go out of line, then we make a choice of B, we can still reach to a goal state. Similarly from the near D box, first from the pauses we make a roll forward, we come to near D box and make a goal kick, then do the pauses ZT2 and apply the action A, still will be able to reach to the goal state. So a safe solution is something, it's a stronger solution in that a solution exists from all states reachable from start states using only pi. So using only pi we can land up to any state, but from that state also if we keep on applying pi, we will eventually reach to one of the goal state. So that is the safe solution, and it is a stronger solution when we compare this against just the solution that we found, our algorithm found in the last slide. So in the non-deterministic environment, planning in non-deterministic environment, let us try to conclude what we have seen and what are the important points. So real-life problems are seldom deterministic. It is often non-deterministic. It's mostly non-deterministic, and the more non-deterministic choices that we consider during the planning, the more robust the plan will become. But plans with deterministic choices also have their advantages, that they have low complexity and computation, low complexity of concept and as well as computation. Plans with non-deterministic choices can explode the problem size can explode very quickly, as well as Also there is this thing that as the non-deterministic choices whatever we make during the plan, it still may not be foolproof. Still there may be other situations or other environmental constraints or other environmental outcomes or accidents that can happen, which we never modeled in our original plan. So even if with all the non-determinism that we can think of or we can imagine, but still our non-determinism is not enough to be able to practical real enough. So in this context we talk about the degree of non-determinism, that if we make more and more if we want to make more and more realistic scenario, we consider a higher degree of non-determinism. For example, a dice roll may cause more than 6 states. So for example, degree of non-determinism here, let's consider how a degree of non-determinism can be more than what we can imagine. We are saying that okay, when a dice is rolled, we'll probably try to model the dice that it is actually will one of the surface will show at the upside, but one of the six sides will be shown on the upside. But it may so happen that in the dice actually got rolled into some kind of a corner or something, and it actually ended up in none of the surfaces in that top side. Also maybe when the dice is actually thrown, it gets lost or broken or something. So there are many possible outcomes also for a simple action or simple problem of throwing a dice. So the degree of robustness basically increases as more and more non-deterministic choices we make, but it still may be incomplete or imperfect because the real world is too complex to be imagined upfront and planned for all possible non-deterministic environmental constraints or environmental attributes. The references here. So thank you.